You know, I once saw an American plug and thought, that's cute. I didn't know they made outlets for toddlers.
What the hell does that even mean? That makes absolutely no sense. I'm out. That's it. Look. Welcome to Two Sides of the Pond, the podcast where two friends, one from the US and one from the UK, explore the quirks, cultures, and camaraderie that unite and divide our two nations. We're going to go ahead and each week we are going to dive into everything from food, politics, everything you can imagine, anything you even want to know about. Let us know down below. Say hello, Matthew.
Hello.
Hey.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time zone it is where you are and where people are listening in from.
So we are talking about outlets, and could you explain what the hell that first thing you said was all about?
So here in the UK, we're used to having quite heavy-duty plugs, right? We have the three tongs, the three pins, whatever you want to call it. They're quite chunky, and when the plug is in the wall, it's solid. You know, you can't just knock it and it falls out. But whereas your cute little things are just two very thin little bits of metal that just sort of flap about in the wall a little bit, you know. A bit of wind comes along, it flies out. Now, I always have problems when I'm trying to plug things in America and having to use the adapters. They just never stay on the damn wall. So, yeah, it's cute. It's like a little plug for a toddler. A little plaything.
Okay, it's pretty safe to say that toddlers should not be plugging in things into walls, by the way. Electricity is dangerous. However, we did have a part of this conversation at one point about how you don't have outlets in your bathroom.
No,
yes.
we don't.
Okay, so you don't have outlets in your bathroom. Why
We have
not?
shaver sockets, though. It depends on the bathroom, but you can have shaver sockets. So I do. So I have a mirror cabinet that lights up, you know, as you do. And inside that, it's got shaver sockets and whatnot, so I can charge toothbrush and obviously the shaver itself and whatnot. So there's a bit of power, but generally speaking, we don't, and it's a safety thing. I think our safety standards in the UK, I think quite clearly, when you compare the difference between our plugs is quite drastic. And having an open outlet in a water-based room is probably just asking for trouble. You know, you're going to get someone just electrocuting themselves accidentally on purpose.
So where do you blow dry your hair?
In the bedroom. So I have...
Is that standard?
I'd say so. I mean, my mum's done her hair in the lounge. She has a mirror on the wall in the lounge, so plugs in the hairdryer there and does it. I do it in my bedroom. I have I don't know what it is. It's a sort of a... Well, it's sort of cupboards and drawers and stuff with a mirror above it, and then the hairdryer is plugged in there, so I can then just see what the hell I'm doing.
So where is the outlet? Where is the place you plug in your bedroom?
In the bedroom
by your
itself.
Vanity, like on the wall, like up against the wall. Okay.
Yeah. So it's behind the unit itself, so I have a little cable access through the top.
Okay.
But so it's hidden away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things I find really interesting about buying a home or picking an apartment to rent here in the US, outlet placement is so important to us. We need an outlet next to the sink in our bathroom because that is where we keep majority of our hot hair tools, like our blow dryer, flat iron, whatever. And when it comes to safety, we don't have to worry about that here because I just brought something to show and tell today. So yes, they are a little flimsy, and I have read somewhere that you cannot, it's almost physically impossible to accidentally knock out one of your outlets or one of your plugs by tension, by accidentally pulling on it. It's like impossible, apparently. Yes, if
I
you
think
were to
that is
tug
horseshit.
on it. So you can accidentally just like tug on the wire and it fall out? Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I thought you meant yours. I thought you were trying to claim yours.
Oh. No.
I see.
So the one
you
thing
didn't make
about
that
yours,
clear.
Sorry.
Your
so fault. Hey, douche canoe. Look, so when you look at this, right? Yes, we've only got two, and apparently you have a third one that comes out here, kind of like a grounder. piece
Yes,
or
we have
something.
ground. Although apparently it's becoming, I wouldn't say
We have
common, but
some
they
here.
do exist in the US.
Yes, they do. And then mine also has two
The
little buttons
reset.
on the back, the
Yeah.
reset and the test button. So in case there's an electrical surge that might cause problems, it'll pop. So it'll shut the electricity off here. My outlet actually has the same little buttons as well, by the way.
Yeah.
But what we also have, and for the people actually just listening to the podcast, I will explain this.
If you can even read it. Do you need your reading glasses there, Dwayne?
We have tags on all of our stuff.
Is that a bathtub saying don't use it in the bathtub?
That is correct. All right, Matthew.
Someone's clearly done that, though. This is the thing. Someone's done that at some point in the history of America, and they've been sued, and so they put it on the label.
Yeah. So it says, unplug it. Do not remove this tag. Warn children of the risk of death by electrical shock.
Nah.
So yes.
Let them find out for themselves. More fun.
And on the back it says, keep away from water. Even though
this
is
in your damn bathroom, in the
bathroom.
For Christ.
Right, yeah. After you run your bath, just whoops.
It makes perfect sense. It is true though, because a lot of the places that I've stayed in, whether it's hotels or Airbnbs in America, there is the outlets right up by the sink.
That's exactly where it is in the house.
Yeah, and it's so easy to splash. You're there sort of washing your hands, or you're doing the sort of the old hand movement to to wash off the soap and stuff. It's very easy for water to splash out into an outlet.
Yeah, and because of this wonderful warning label, I won't be doing that because this is the first time. This is an old ass thing. I've had this for like 20 years. This hairdryer, and it's the first time I'm reading this. But it says, always unplug it after use. Do not place or store where dryer can fall in or pulled into the tub, toilet, or sink because they expect you to use this in the bathroom. That's the expectation.
Do you? Is that where you use it?
Yes.
Okay.
Do not use while bathing. Do not use near or place in water. In case you were wondering, you can't make a hot tub or your water in your bathtub hotter by putting a blow dryer in and turning it on. And if dryer falls into the water, unplug immediately. Do not reach into water. So we are so damn stupid that I just pulled out my outlet. Hold on. See, if this was the UK outlet, my outlet wouldn't have been able to just pull out because of tension.
See, no point. Outlets for toddlers. That's exactly what I said. I got confused. So I was in New York overnight, passing through, and I was staying in a hotel, and I was using the hairdryer that was in the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I struggled to find it to begin with. So it was in the bathroom. The bathroom was massive, and underneath the worktop where the sink is on the right hand side was this real sort of shallow but deep sliding drawer that blended in, so it's hard to see that it was there. Eventually, I found it and opened it, but I couldn't see anything in it because it was right at the very back. So it took me a good sort of 10 minutes trying to find this damn hairdryer. I knew they had one because it was a Hilton, and they always have hairdryers somewhere, right? But sometimes they're in the wardrobe, hung up with the fucking ironing board and the iron that you get in rooms. It varies, right? Anyway, I found it, but it didn't want to work. And this is the first time I had to fiddle around with the damn reset button bullshit on the plug and on the socket and try and make things just, wake up. And it's, we don't have that problem here.
We're trying to keep you safe.
Yeah, but it's just frustrating me, just sort of rising my blood pressure, pushing me closer to an aneurysm. I don't think that's keeping me safe, really.
Nice.
I
totally get it, but I mean, at home, so where do you store your hairdryer? Because you've admitted to using one now, so we're going to go in. So do you keep it like in your dresser drawer next to your other nighttime tools and your Bible?
I don't have a Bible. That's more an American thing, having a Bible, is it not?
Next
I think
to your
Americans
bed?
are more religious than, in general. I think Americans are more religious than what us Brits are, in all honesty.
Okay.
I would say so, yeah. I think you have more of a religious thing going on there than what we do. I think most Brits don't really give a shit, unless you're a bit more old-fashioned, perhaps, and you still go to church.
But, well, I mean, your God is your king and queen, so...
Is it? If you say so. But, yeah. So, it just stays where it is, within that area. Okay. So easy to grab, yeah.
So where do you keep it? No, seriously, like, do you keep it on your dresser, in a dresser drawer?
Mostly on the dresser. It just stays there.
It just sits right on. That's messy, though. Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah, but it's effort. It's
You have.
effort just putting it
I am
away.
dying to see where you live and how you live because I guarantee you it is a bachelor pad. I would be surprised if you don't have a mattress on the floor and
No,
yeah,
I got a nice bed. I have a TV bed, so
a
full massive frame.
TV.
Yeah, got a
What
TV in the foot of the bed that rises up and down when you want to use it.
bougie
Um,
ass mother. Yeah,
yeah, it's really nice because there's nowhere in my bedroom
that is
where
so
a TV.
1991.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
It's
it
coming back
is.
in. It's really good because it's in this the design of the bedroom that I have. The door to the ensuite is in the middle of the room opposite the bed, so there's nowhere to put a TV. And I don't like having a TV off to the side because I
Put it on
like
the
watching TV
wall.
straight on. The cat. I just told you the fucking door there, you bastard. There's a door to the ensuite. What am I supposed to do? Put it in front of the door and just freaking limbo under it every time I want to go for a piss? Listen to what I'm telling you. It's not going to work. But I don't like having it off to the center either. I like watching the TV straight on, as TVs are designed to be looked at, right? So the
Hmm.
best way to deal with that is to have a TV bed. And then, so it's not clutter and shit everywhere catching dust, when you're done with it, it just sinks down. You must have seen a picture. I must have sent you a picture of this shit. I'm sure I did. I did. I sent you a little video the other
You
day of
know
the film
what?
that we watched, and you probably didn't notice. But maybe go
I
back and
didn't
watch that
notice.
video.
I didn't notice because nobody in their right mind has a TV bed.
They're popular
So,
shit, man. They're
so I
popular.
just I
Connor
can't
used
keep
to
one
have
of
one
it.
as well. Connor had the same thing.
Uh,
But yeah, and I got a nice Simba mattress as well, so it's real comfy and sort of like spacesuit technology to regulate your body temperature. It's really good. It's really, really good.
like silver.
Fuck knows. But
No,
you know the sort of space technically having spacesuits, it'll keep your temperature consistent whether you're cold or whether you're hot. It will
I think it's a
regulate.
metal. There's like a
Maybe I
metal
don't know.
woven into material.
Maybe.
There are bed sheets
Yeah.
that
So
advertise having that, and
yeah.
they're made with like silver, like the metal type
Yeah,
of
maybe that's
stuff.
what it is. I haven't looked into the
Maybe.
technology. Yeah, but I have it in the mattress. I have it in the duvet as well. And I
Okay.
have noticed you're a bit off topic, but I have noticed I sleep a lot better since I got that. Because quite expensive stuff to do, but it's well worth the investment. And there's a few companies that do similar sort of stuff. So it's not just Simba, but these sort of places that specialize in duvets and mattresses and stuff. It's
Hmm.
worth doing. But yeah, so I have that. But I think based on what I can see though from the view here, there's a lot less clutter in this place. It's
Okay.
there's not much
Well, you're a
here.
bachelor.
It's quite minimalistic, I would say. But there we go.
Yeah, I could tell by your clothing. So when so my bed is a sleep number bed. We're just gonna go
A
all out with
sleep
that.
number.
Yes, yes. Just like my two scales that I use to weigh my body weight, and
You
just
have
like
two
my
beds.
two scales I use to weigh my food, and the toothbrush that yells at me and sends me a reminder that I didn't. It judges me on how well I do. Uh, I also have a bed that tells me how poorly I sleep. It's great. It's just
Oh,
great. So the
okay.
sleep, yeah, well, the
The
sleep
bed
number
does that,
bed.
not some sort of app. Because my watch does it for me. My watch would tell me if I have
Right,
sleep apnea or if I'm what sort of phase of sleep I'm doing and all that sort of stuff. So what does
right.
the bed itself do? Doesn't the bed get confused with other people in the bed?
No, it's two sided. So I have a zone,
Ah,
and the person I sleep with has a zone. But it tells me like last night, I went to bed at 12:19 in the morning, and I woke up at 7:03. And apparently, I drank too much coffee that night because I had
shock.
45 minutes of restless time in sleep. And it took me 30 minutes to fall asleep. It also tells me that, let's see, it tells me like my heart rate while I'm in bed. And it adjusts the firmness as I'm sleeping. So if I start
Oh
moving
right,
around a little bit, it'll it'll higher or lower.
that's
So
quite
yeah,
interesting. So I
it
used to
is.
play. Um, soothing sort of music. I had a playlist on Spotify that would play soothing music. And I used to have ones that lasted 30 minutes each. And I used to remember that most nights I would fall asleep before the first track would finish. So I
Okay.
knew that I was asleep, within 30 minutes. And
Hmm.
occasionally when I'm having a shit night or whatever, I would hear the first track finish and then go into the second and sometimes the third track. So that would be my sort of
I can't
awareness
do
of,
that.
no.
Oh my God, I can't do that. I can go to sleep listening to things, uh, meditation music, that's fine. Apps on my phone, YouTube will go on. My thing is, if I consciously knew that I was falling asleep before before the end of the track, I would be so hyper fixated on crap. I have to go to sleep. I have to go to sleep before the next track, and that would just keep me up. It would make my mind spin the whole time. I mean, as you know, my mind spins at night when I lay down. Anyway,
Yes.
like, you are not the only person after I wake up texting, yeah, by the way, I had this dream last night, and oh, I had this idea when I was laying in bed. How most people have thoughts in the shower, I have them laying in bed before I fall asleep.
You have bed thoughts, yeah. Most have
Yeah,
shower thoughts. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's fair enough. That is fair enough. But yeah. But
All
back on
right, so
topic.
do you have. No, 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 no. No, I want to know if you have blackout curtains.
More or less. They are darker curtains. I do like things darker in the room. They're not fully. In the mornings when the sun is up, there is a bit of light, but they are
Hmm.
quite dark.
Okay,
And then I have colored lights in the ceiling that I can
okay.
control the brightness of and the colors of.
Oh, you are a gamer. That just screams gamer.
No, it's
All
mood
right.
lighting, man. It's nice. I have it
Okay.
in the lounge as well, so it's nice when you're watching films.
So, in respect for you and our people overseas on the other side of the pond, um, I will say that I sleep. My room has to be set a certain way to fall asleep. So I have very dark in my room. I have a scent going in the room, and I make it so that I have a little bit of white noise, and it's always 15 and a half degrees Celsius.
It's very specific.
Yes. Yeah.
How did you
60 degrees.
discover that
60
this is the
degrees
sweet spot?
Fahrenheit. My bed told me so.
Ah,
it,
okay.
Now, actually, what winds up happening is it'll give you the average, and it'll score you. It will rate your sleep. It'll tell you your heart rate. It'll tell you different things like that. So after a while, as you're going into sleep, um, yeah, my life is, as for dumb as I am, I need a lot of smart things around me to keep up with myself.
That's why
Stop
I'm right
shaking
then.
your
That makes
head.
sense.
Stop shaking your head. That was not okay.
Hey, I'm agreeing with you.
I can still see you.
That's true. Did you say 16 degrees Celsius is what you need the temperature of the room to be?
Yes.
That's very cold.
Yes, and your body, the normal human body, does better when it's a little cooler.
That's not a little colder. That's very cold. The average room temp that you should have is around 20 to 22 degrees, maybe a bit warmer than that. So 16 is
All right.
very, very cold.
I was polite and respectful by speaking your language. Could you speak my language for once?
Yeah, well, now that's why I'm questioning you getting the math right, to be honest.
No. 60 degrees Fahrenheit is
60 Fahrenheit.
60 degrees Fahrenheit is 15 and a half degrees Celsius.
So you should be the normal temperature I would say is more like 72 Fahrenheit.
Okay.
So it's 12 degrees for you. That's quite a chilly room.
I guess.
I'm surprised it's not snowing in there, to be honest.
We're in Florida. We don't get snow.
Yeah, Florida doesn't, but your fucking room. Your room gets it. Your room is the Arctic. Like, come on.
Well, imagine. Never mind. Don't don't. We're not going there. Sorry.
Okay. So when you go to
So
hotels, is that the first thing you do is just break the
air
thermostat?
conditioning. Yeah, absolutely. First thing I do.
Right. Remind me never to go into a room that you're staying in then, because I'll probably freeze to death.
Again,
I need a jump rope.
another point for the reason that I need to have my own hotel room when I travel.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, because it will be freezing cold.
Yeah, it'd be too
Yeah.
uncomfortable for other people.
I don't think you could even get a adjoining room because I think your cold air will try to escape
I
into
think,
the normal temperatured room. If that's even a word, temperatured. It is now. Made
yeah.
it. And it's just like, yeah, I think we'll get rooms on the opposite ends of the hotel. No, better yet, we'll go into different hotels on the opposite ends of the city. That way, I'm not impacted by your cold as fuck room.
Well,
Problem solved.
how cool is your room? Like, do you set a temperature for your room?
Uh, Not. It depends. Depends on the season. So right now it's winter or becoming winter. So I'll get the room to heat up to maybe 24 Celsius. So I don't know, maybe 75, 76 perhaps.
Okay.
But then when I go sleep, that will sort of chill out a bit. It'll go down to about, I think, 18 degrees Celsius. So maybe like 68. I don't know. I'm guessing here,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
but it chills out a little bit whilst I'm asleep because it doesn't need to worry, and then it will come on again in the morning just so I wake up where it's nice and toasty. I also have underfloor heating in the bathroom, which is nice because it's a tiled floor, so when it's really cold, it's nice to step on. That's warm tiles, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But in the summer when I have the aircon on, I will have the aircon probably set to around 72 Fahrenheit before I go to sleep. The aircon will stay on usually for about an hour after I've gone to sleep, and then it will flick to fan only mode throughout the
Okay.
night just to keep the air circulation,
Yeah.
and then it will flick back to aircon mode in the morning before I wake up again, just to bring the temperature back down to a comfortable temperature. But
Okay.
I suppose it is very similar. You're talking about around the 72 mark, I would say, is what I try and keep the room at. But if I'm
To
not using
sleep
stuff
at
like that,
night.
yeah, yeah, around
And then
that,
during
yeah.
the day, it's a little warmer.
It varies. Depends where I am. Depends what I'm doing. Because I don't always have this stuff on. It's only when things are quite drastic, where it's really hot, whether it's really cold, then I use something to sort it out so I'm comfortable. But when it's like at the midpoint, I just let it sort of do its own thing, and then yeah, I turn on the aircon if I need to cool it down, or I put the heating on if I need to warm it up. Like I've only just turned the heating on yesterday. So this was beginning of November. I just turned the heating on for the winter because it started to get a little bit too cold. I was sat in the lounge at lunchtime yesterday, and I was feeling quite chilly. I was like, okay, it's probably time to put some
Turn it up.
heating on.
Well, your houses built in the UK are very different than
Yes,
ours. We've
yes.
discussed that on our own. All right, I know I've kind of hijacked this a little bit. So, was there any other points you wanted to make about outlets and how stupid Americans are?
Not massively. It's just we have some protective measures with our plugs that stop people from sticking things into them when they're not in use. So we have protective sort of like housing that stops two of the holes from having stuff put into. So if you look at a UK plug, you'll notice the ground, I believe, is a longer pin
Yes,
than the other two pins. And that's
yes.
because when you plug that in, that releases the lower two pins to allow it to
Hmm.
go in the hole, which it's hard to explain this without making it sound, like something else. But yeah, so you can't like go around. Because if you stick something in the ground, it doesn't matter. It's ground; it won't make a difference. But if you stick something into the live area, you're gonna shock yourself and probably shit on the floor, which is less than ideal for multiple people.
Yeah.
So yeah, some differences there, and we have different voltages as well.
Yes, and the voltages have something to do with the reason why you need grounding. That third pin.
Yeah, because we have 230, 240 volts, something like that, whereas yours is 120, I think. Different hertz rate as well, I believe, for our stuff. So we're
Why
50 hertz,
is
you're
that?
60 hertz. I don't actually know. But apparently the higher voltage in the UK means the appliances often run more efficiently, while the
Mm,
lower voltage in the US is generally considered safer for home use, but may require larger wires for higher powered devices. So
okay.
I guess part of your stuff is maybe not as safe as ours, but your voltage is that much lower, so perhaps there's less risk of causing bodily harm, and maybe that's why it's more acceptable to have power outlets in the bathroom. Imagine if we did it, we're putting 240 volts, double what you are,
Right.
in a place of water. So if someone did walk into the bath with a hairdryer, it's
Hmm.
going to be quite worse than what you
So
have.
do you believe in phantom power?
Elaborate your meaning
So
of
the
phantom
whole
power.
idea of I believe it's called phantom power, where even though the light, say your lamp, is not turned on, it still uses electricity, and you're still paying for a certain portion of electricity that's going through the wire. So what a lot of people have done, or something that they were really pushing to do, I think it's bullshit, but they pull out the plug when they're not in use.
Yeah, I
People do
don't
that
do
for
that.
kitchen appliances or stuff. Have you heard of that?
I
Maybe not
have
that
heard of it.
term, but yeah.
I have heard of it. We have it with like TVs as well, and TVs are on standby, and you have the little standby lights. People like to turn it off by the plug, so you're not paying for the little standby light that shows on the TV. But most TVs these days don't even then have the standby light. They've got rid of it because what's the point? But
Mhm.
yeah, but I don't bother. I honestly couldn't give a shit. I really
I mean,
couldn't.
how much power could it possibly be? It's
Exactly.
what
It's
I
not
think.
gonna make
So
much
we're
difference.
destroying, together we will destroy the earth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose if you add it all up across everyone, then it's quite significant. But whatever. Build things differently if it's a problem. You know what I mean? Build devices and appliances so they don't consume power when they're not actually being used.
Hmm.
I know there's fire risk as well, leaving things plugged in, but again, it's rare. And, at the end of the day, if something's going to catch fire, it's going to catch fire. So fuck it. It'd be interesting here as well because the place that I live in, I'm at the end of a group of 4 places. So it's an end terrace house. And it's built using timber frame. So it's wood materials. The whole frame of the house is timber.
You'll go
So
up
if,
like that.
oh, it'd be like a tinderbox. And it'll transfer across to all of them. All 4 of these, they're fucking gone. Game over. So
Right.
you know what I mean? So it's a bit like, well, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Again, if they care all that much, you wouldn't have houses that will just offer a chain reaction to burn down the entire neighborhood. So
Okay, so this is how slow I am. We're going to go back to the very beginning. We'll go full circle with this. So you don't think it's okay to blow dry your hair in the bathroom because, water and whatnot, right?
I don't see a problem per se with using a blow dryer in the bathroom, but I can see
But
that there are many idiots in the world, and it's probably not necessary to offer people the ability of using electrical items in a place where it has a lot of water.
okay,
Why take the
so
risk?
so then I have a question about something you brought up earlier.
Okay.
So the toothbrush, I'm sure, is not plugged in while you're using it. It's a charging port. The shaving outlet, is it plugged in while you're using it?
Mine isn't, no. So to be fair, I don't actually use my shaving port in the cabinet. I always charge things in the on the landing outside the bedroom. I don't know why. It's just I don't have the cable in the cabinet. I have the cable in the bedroom. So when I need a charger, I just take it out and plug it in the wall, and it's done. But I mean, you can have shavers that you plug into the wall when you want to use them. That's possible. But I guess the thing with shavers though, they are lower power quite significantly. I think the shaver outlets are a lot lower power. It's not a full power plug for us.
I'm just trying to understand the hypocrisy between having the outlet behind a mirror and up
Right.
against the wall. It's like 6-inch difference.
Well,
It's
it's
right
higher
next
up
to it.
anyway. It is a lot higher up when you compare it to power
Mine's
outlets, which are right
right
by the
next
sink.
to my window, my mirror,
Yeah, but
my mirror cabinet.
the place that I stayed at most recently in Florida had the
Hmm.
power right by the sink. You're talking like that
Okay.
far away from the bowl of the sink to a power outlet. It was that close.
Okay.
Which to me is a bit silly. I still used it because fuck it, right? I found the hairdryer in the bathroom, so I was like, I'll plug that in. I left it plugged in as well. Probably risking my life, but hey.
So in hotels in the UK, the hairdryer would never be found in the bathroom.
Usually it's in the cupboard where you can put where the safe is and the ironing board and and
Okay.
spare pillows.
Okay.
Usually you'll
In a
find it in
bag.
there. In a bag, yeah, hung
In a
up,
bag, very discreet.
yeah. And then you'll plug it in normally because they usually have a big floor, head height mirror going on in the room. So sorry, I'm
Right.
sort of waving in front of the camera here. I'll use this hand, But yeah, usually you have a big a big mirror, then the plug will be next to it, and away you go. They always have these luggage things as well. All the places I stay out, so it's usually like
Yes.
hotel, airport hotels, but they always have the little sort of the luggage holder. But most suitcases are double-sided these days, right? It's not just the
Yes.
top that flaps open. These luggage holders are not designed for those sort of suitcases, so you can't fucking use it, and it pisses me off. So I have to move it out the way, so I have space to put the suitcase fully on the floor and open it up like a fucking grown vagina, right? Because it's just double-sided, and it doesn't work on those things. So
We will definitely be doing a travel video soon.
We will
a
be.
travel episode. Absolutely. We'll destroy the airport and we'll work our way to the hotel and the actual hotel you stay in and how you get your information. But I think we've beaten this dead horse. Yeah. So Matthew,
nothing much more to say on it, really. We have different plugs,
and we have no actual say about what kind of plugs we get.
No.
The only other thing I really had, honestly, was that you wind up your house is worth more money the more outlets it has because it's so expensive to get an outlet moved or put in somewhere else. So it is what it is. But we rely heavily in our market what outlets we have where. So
yeah, I had to have some additional ones installed in my house. So most of the rooms here have lots of outlets around the room, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But the room that I'm in now, strangely, was very light on outlets. It had some on the back wall, which is here, but nothing on the entire other side of the room. Not a single one. And it's like, well, that's dumb. So I asked them to install another one over in that area to make it a bit easier. And that cost me like 40, 50 pounds, like 75 bucks, 80 bucks. That's a fucking additional socket. That's it. It's a bit of plastic and a bit of wiring. I mean, this is before the house is even built. It's not like it's having it done after the fact. It was, because in the UK.
After the fact, it would be a lot more expensive.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Breaking into a wall, running the wire. So yeah, that's what's like 50 pounds. Who cares?
Yeah, but when you're here, still do it, because a lot of houses in this country you buy off plan before they've been built. If it's a new build, obviously, if you're buying something that's
obviously, yeah, no, yeah. I
just to clarify that, because I know what you're like, just in case you're confused. And on that note, don't break it. You need that thing. You've got many more of these to do. That's why I have like 50 of these Union Jack stress balls. Yeah. So, in case I break them from pure rage that you inflict upon me, I have another. Although most of them are still all over the floor because I drop them quite often.
By the way, I have 4 more of these.
Oh, you do? Out. I'll break it then. Fuck it. Put it apart. Go on, show us your strength. Rip it into.
That'll definitely be a Patreon thing. On that note, take it away, Matthew. Say goodbye.
Okay. Oh, shit. Drop the ball. See what I mean? It's okay. I have another one. But yes, thank you for joining. I don't know if there's much really to say on the topic of plugs, but yeah, let us know whether you think the US is a better plug or the UK one. Personally, I think the UK is safer. I think we make more effort to not shock the shit out of our citizens, which is why we don't have labels that say, don't be a dumbass and use it in water. We're not that thick. But hey-ho. But follow us on our social medias. Subscribe to our Patreon if you want to see some behind-the-scenes stuff where we continue the chat. And until next time, bye for now.
Bye, guys.